Hi guys, welcome back. If you are watching this, you're probably wondering what in the hell is happening with crypto. Well, we're going to discuss that, what's going on with Ethereum, what's happening on with Celsius, as well as Bitcoin too is also crashing along with some other coins in the market. If you haven't already, do subscribe, drop a comment, and hit the bell and stay with me for future news in crypto. So let's really kind of go over just some news I've found here on Forbes. Great article, kind of explaining everything that's going on. Now, in the last, we were really looking at Ethereum to kind of balance out and start moving in. Of course, we have the merge coming on here coming up very soon, and everything was looking pretty well for Ethereum. However, different people had different options, and it's kind of looking like a little bit like Terra Luna and the Dokkan situation. Well, it's kind of a sad moment as we kind of mourn the death of crypto as it looks like, right? But not really. All in all, if you're speaking on anything in general, this is just setting up a good buying opportunity coming up. We all want to, it's not the first time Ethereum has actually crashed, but I think we all remember it did drop over 60% a couple of years ago, and it jumped back up. So imagine it was around $80 at one point. That is something that is very, very huge. And it gave a lot of people a way to make some good money. Well, it's kind of what we're looking at now, but there's something that's really kind of triggering a red flag for me. But going back to this news right here, so on the 3-day chart, as they were telling, that it showed the 72 hours at 50 candle simple moving average was trending south and looked like the crossover. Now, we had that death cross, and don't worry, because we're going to kind of go over and look at the chart here in just a few moments. They were signifying that Ether's 3-day short chart here, right, that impending death cross on both 2018, they had that very similar movement that kind of happened, as you can see here and here. Now, that soon to be confirmed death cross, actually, what they were talking about was part of what's going on as well, but it was already down from a lot. So that actually was around 1,770 just a couple of days ago, and Ether is down around 175% from that record high of $4,800 that was reached actually in November. So it's a lot, honestly. It's a huge amount that it's actually went down. But we also have to take in mind when Luna was going down, it short-circuited, if you want to call it, whatever. It did the same thing. Ethereum actually fell down a lot as well, started to kind of balance out. So did Bitcoin balance out. And there's so many different things that's going on, but they're telling here it remains to be seen if the impending death cross actually entices contrarian traders into buying or invites more selling from trend following traders. That's a good point. So everybody's watching this right now, they're probably freaking out selling, but the real money is to be made for the people that are actually holding. According here on Wednesday, those developers actually merged Ethereum's oldest test network, Ropsten. Remember when that actually happened, that proof of work chain, with a proof of stake beacons chain. That merge actually set for the mainnet's merged POS design, which actually I was expecting, and along with hundreds of other people, thousands, millions of people were actually really looking for it to actually be very bullish. Well, the Fed, because they raised rates by 75 basis points this year, is likely to actually lift that borrowing cost by 50 basis points, meaning that hawkish expectations would strengthen today's inflation. That's what they were kind of expecting. This is what they're telling here. Well, the Feds are pulling this market as well. I don't really necessarily think it's just the Feds. There's a lot going on more than that. So taking a look at the chart, right? So right now, at this very moment, it is $1,242, and the decline is still going. But one cool thing is, if you see, as we're still continuing to the daily chart, we're still about 11 hours left. It looks like some people are buying into this dip that's going on. This is that death cross we're talking about, 2 days ago, that was kind of looking at, and it actually crossed over, yesterday. So we're kind of looking at that right now. This moment, this little downward trend, that's the Terra Luna mishap that's kind of happening, right? So it kind of fell the same, and then it dipped back down as well. And this is about the area, what we're talking about. It looked like it was starting to kind of normal on out, which we were kind of, not really paying attention to so much. But really, there's a lot of things going on, right? So when we're speaking about Ethereum, we also know that, Lido actually staked Ethereum. The staked Ethereum, that DeFi Ethereum derivative, was actually diverged in the last 48 hours. So that particular coin was intended to be pegged to Ethereum 1-to-1, but it is trading around 1,400 and dropped over that 7% in 24 hours, right? So Now, because it's trading at 1,233 right now, Thursday, that staked Ethereum was actually started to beg. And that first wave of loss originated from that major 1.5 million dump by Alameda Capital. That's a big thing. So that's one of the top staked Ethereum holdings. Now they kind of disposed of all of its token holdings reportedly. So that's a big thing. It's a big rug pull. And that's where it's looking kind of similar to Terra Luna at this point, and kind of sketchy right now. So it's either people are just completely losing the whole faith in crypto at this point, right? As a global economy is looking really, really bad, given all the conflicts, or this one particular conflict that's going on, right? So, but the good question is everybody panic selling due to the loss? But that's really kind of hard to really tell between the Ethereum pricing and the staked Ethereum. So it can actually be redeemed for Ethereum once the merger is fully complete. But we don't know when. So they are telling, well, it's, as if you caught it in our last video, we were talking about Cardano's founder saying, well, it can be pushed back, which is also another big thing that people started buying into and started freaking out over Ethereum as well. We're like, oh, well, he says it's going to be pushed back. And that really kind of set that mentality in people's minds that Ethereum is going to be pushed back. They're going to lose. It's a good time to sell. And so a lot of these things are kind of accumulating to push this to the price where it's at. Now, with all of this being done and all of this being said, the main function of that is that collateral and DeFi platform like AAVE and Lido could actually be very disastrous for everything. Now, those losses in staked Ethereum actually triggered the panic selling in Ethereum. So now, staked Ethereum, which represents Ethereum 2.0 beacon chain that locked Ethereum, is used as collateral in DeFi services to borrow more Ethereum. Now, that token's price does fall sharply. Positions that have borrowed Ethereum with that token may be liquidated, and this is what I'm thinking we're seeing right now. Holders can be forced to sell their staked Ethereum on the open market, and of course, that will cause the price to plummet even more. And I think this is what we're seeing, especially right around in here. Now, despite everything, and the fact that is that the incident actually had a minimal direct impact on Ethereum prices, it can be triggering panic selling of the second largest crypto of Ethereum. So in the last 24 hours, the price actually dropped over 11%, which is even growing. But what about Celsius in this point, right? So Celsius actually locked a large amount of users' assets into staked Ethereum, being the fact that it's subject to that redemption. So if clients are actually alarmed by the current staked Ethereum price dropped, a bank run could actually happen and flooding Celsius with redemptions and potentially making that liquidity crisis. So if the staked selling comes even more intense, those like AAVE and Lido, that own such a large substantial amounts of the token, that can actually push this crunch as far as liquidity going on as well. So it's something to be paying attention to. Definitely watch your eyes on the staked Ethereum. But Alameda and you have Celsius pulling the rug on that and jumping through. Don't really know their plan. Why? It's something that should be investigated, much like how Do Kwon should be as well, even further, to see what's really happening, because it really kind of made this whole market freak out and everybody's really completely panic selling. But you can see this is the daily chart right now, not looking very good for Ethereum. Hopefully it can rebound back up. I believe it will, honestly. So this is creating a big market structure for the future. So I definitely see it at least coming back up to 1900 or so, around 2000. But we're going to have to get over this moment and really see what's going to be the stopping point for this. Bitcoin is the same thing. If you're looking right here, it's the same movement, right? So here is the mishap of Terra Luna that kind of followed suit with Bitcoin. The same thing for Ethereum followed around, and of course right now. So it's pulling along with it. Everybody's really losing a lot of hope in crypto right now. Bitcoin's trading at 24K right now. It's probably going to touch around 19,000, 20,000. Sitting in. It's such a high possibility. They have the death cross happening as well, coming through. So and if you go back to our previous videos, we said the same thing too, that what Bitcoin does, Ethereum's going to do, and a lot of the altcoins are going to get kind of crunched in by that as well. But that's where it's kind of dipping in. Nothing too good. So one thing to be certain though, this is not like Terra Luna. Either way, it's a much more prominent coin than what Terra Luna was and ever could be, in my opinion. Luna was good for a short while. Of course, we didn't know. Honestly, we got scammed by Terra Luna. But here with Ethereum, it's quite different. A lot of big promising things, and I'm a big Ethereum believer. But I do try to stay unbiased regardless of what's going on. But the big difference here is that because when Ethereum's actually starting to push through this project and this merge and coming through, it's giving that possibility of going big. And so even if it drops, for example, to $500, it still has a potential of actually going back up. They're talking about in August of this year. August, September is when this should actually kind of be released and coming in. As far as the merge, if this is successful, it's going to skyrocket either way. Now we're all waiting for it to at least gradually go up. But of course, with different things kind of happening all at one time, this is not just a one crisis situation where the market's just going to dip down and so we're going to bounce back up. We're going to rebound from this pretty hard. We have almost every week some major kind of piece going on. I mean, within this month, it's already like two major things that's already impacted the market. And Bitcoin's going to follow through suit with it anyways, Bitcoin especially. And so there's a lot going on as far as, well, where are we going to stand? Where's the dollar, the USDT actually crashing, going down? I mean, that's crazy to even think about at this point. So people lost faith in stable coins altogether. They're losing all of this kind of, investors are just absolutely bailing out at this moment, right? And so governments are actually pushing in like, well, this, we're going to regulate this, we're going to regulate that, which is actually really horrible for crypto, in my opinion. But with the Feds doing this and with the crisis going on, Bitcoin will come back into the point. Bitcoin, when I say Bitcoin, I mean as far as all crypto in general, but these markets will pull up. I think once Bitcoin actually reaches the bottom, starts to actually kind of regain itself, start to gain back strength and start coming back up, Ethereum's going to come up along with it. You have Cardano as well. It's going to start producing up more and more and more. And you're going to see that eventually kind of come in. Speaking of Cardano, let's take a look at Cardano right now. Let's see how this is going. This is just something I haven't checked out too much. But let's go ahead and see what's going on with that right now, right? I think even it took a hit coming in. It did. It's the same thing. So Cardano, which was like super positive, right? We're going up to the moon, right? $64 on the 7th, right? And it slowly dipped down just like the other coins. So always keep an eye out for Bitcoin, what Bitcoin does, the other mimics. So this is where we're going to see. So eventually we're going to touch back down, creating a massive buying opportunity. The author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, I can't remember his name exactly, but even he had stated, now's the time to buy as much crypto as you can. And everybody that look back at 2018 and they're like, oh man, I want to buy at this good price. I want to enter in and do this. It's like, I wish it was a good price where I can afford it. I wish I could do this. This is that moment. This is that moment to kind of buy in, making that massive buying opportunity. And so just to kind of see once you kind of stabilize it out, and even if you entered right around in here, for example, right? And the same thing for Bitcoin, Ethereum, if you entered around this kind of what's going on in between these two market structures, I think you're going to come out all right, because that market structure is going to kind of do from the previous major move, that previous high, even if we're speaking about, if we're counting this, the pretty big market move, right? But right here, right? So if you're saying 89 cents for Cardano, I think it will at least reach back up to that point pretty soon. So if you entered right around here, around 50 cents for this is a good moment to kind of enter in and check it out. So we're going to keep you updated with Ethereum, what's going on, what's kind of moves. Definitely check out Celsius, Google that, right? And we're going to see what kind of news we're going to catch, what's happening, if any kind of plans. But it's not so dangerous like how with Terra Luna was, where they were like, oh my God, it's crashing. We're going to do a huge burn. You're going to make millions now. It's not going to be quite the same, because you're still playing with some pretty serious money with Ethereum. And it also has a lot brighter future for crypto as well. So, all right, guys, thank you for joining me. Do subscribe, drop a comment, and I'll see you again next time.